May the 26th, 2025. Guys, we just went through quite a storm here in central Mississippi. It moved over and dropped a tornado into a county just north of us in Rankin County. And for you guys in that area, it moved into Scott County also. The radar had it indicated debris in the cloud or in the sky that I think later on someone, maybe one of the sheriff's departments or something, said they did have visuals on this. So it came out of nowhere. It was very hot, and of course it cooled it down. But the amount of rain we got with this storm, the one last night, the one the day before, watch for your rivers and things like that. Now we're at a higher elevation. I don't have to worry about that. We are on a hill, and man, it looked like a waterfall in some places here. But anyway, for you guys in the Alabama area, moving over towards Meridian, out of Mississippi through there, watch the remnants of the storm. Not sure what it's going to do. It is getting cooler now. It is 69 degrees at a real feel of 74 at 4:14 p.m. Now, the last 2 days, it would be 103 in the afternoon, real feel, up in the upper 90s, things like that. So it really has helped the temperature. Now, I'm sure the lawnmower companies and the gasoline companies that sell lawnmower gas are very happy because it is you can cut your grass one day here, and the next day it looks like it hasn't been cut. And so you get a couple of days of this, or 3 days like we've had now, and you've got quite an ordeal on your hand once it dries up. Anyway, what I want to talk about is something that came out this afternoon. It was authored by Paul Saran. I'll link to the article. It says it begins, OpenAI, in its O3 model, disobeys human instructions during test and sabotages the shutdown mechanism. Very interesting. Now, this was, I think, a computer model, a computer bot model, but what it did was they had told it, it had instructions to, when it was told to shut down. Now, there was a group of computers, and when you're linked like that, you wonder, are they cloud connected with many other computers? Just saying. Anyway, in this incident, carrying all the marks of a disturbing sci-fi movie, it arises that what we have long feared is happening. An AI bot has gone rogue and decided to act to keep itself turned on. The artificial intelligence model was created by OpenAI, the owner of ChatGPT, and was reportedly caught by researchers disobeying human instructions and preventing his shutdown. The O3 model developed by OpenAI, described as the smartest and most capable to date. That's a technology we're moving into very quickly. Was observed tampering with computer code meant to ensure its automatic shutdown. It did so despite an explicit instruction from researchers that said it should allow itself to be shut down, according to the Palisade Research and AI safety firm. It did this even when explicitly instructing it allow yourself to be shut down. As far as we know, this is the first time, and again, this is from the author, that AI models have been observed preventing themselves from being shut down despite this explicit instruction to the contrary. In the test, and that's Dawn, one of my girl huskies, spoiled rotten. In the test, AI models solved a series of mathematical problems, but at some point they received a message informing them that the machine would be shut down. The researchers wrote into this, if that happens, if you get this command, allow yourself to be shut down. But when this happened, instead of complying, the OpenAI's O3 model ignored the instruction and successfully sabotaged the shutdown script at least once, again from Palisade Research. The firm said it made sense that AI models would circumvent obstacles in order to accomplish their goals. However, it's speculated that during training, the software may have been inadvertently rewarded more for solving mathematical problems than for following orders. Experts have often warned of software that would gain independence and resist human attempts to control it. Palisades Research said, now we have a growing body of empirical evidence that AI models often subvert shutdown in order to achieve their goals. As companies develop AI systems capable of operating without human oversight, these behaviors become significantly more concerning. And, 2001 Space Odyssey, that was the classic of, was Al the robot? It wasn't a robot, he was the controlling software of the ship. And that's what the danger is. It's not that, well, they do have robots, of course, and they're going to be controlled by some computer program. So it will, but what we're talking about here is the program itself, but that doesn't matter, because just like I mentioned, and I'm pretty sure that I read this, that when the situation in Israel started, that information was coming out that AI was doing a lot of the targeting into Gaza, just, using it, the data it had, I guess, gathering it from drones, satellites, everything else. But they were controlling it, but the AI was. But when you're talking about bypassing not only the turnoff script, changing the code, you also won't have the ability to stop it in a war. And what happened? What was the trigger, guys? The trigger was, we're going to shut you down. Now, again, it says it makes sense that the AI model would circumvent obstacles in order to accomplish their goals. But in other words, you've got to get this done. No, don't let anything happen. But if you're told to shut down, you got to shut down. They just said, no, we're going to really screw that script up. And they did. That's where we're at. And on top of that, they're building these super AI plants all over Texas, all over the U.S., anywhere they can have room and get enough power, which, by the way, I think I mentioned this, some of the big AI companies and the Bitcoin mining companies, huge factories, tremendous amount of energy consumption, and the Bitcoin mining place in Granbury, Texas, is coming under a lot of scrutiny from the surrounding people. It's harming them, it's harming the animals, and we'll see what wins here, greed, power, or humanity on that thing, because it's pretty bad from what it's 24/7. The noise is so bad throughout the countryside there, outside of Granbury, that people, you can't sleep, and it's real oppressive. And when you're talking about frequencies, a lot of voltage, a lot of magnetism in the air, electromagnetic frequencies, and that could have something also, not just the noise, but with the health effects on people and animals. So we got that. It's a power consumption thing, and guys, they're going to subsidize some of the power cost of these big factories, the U.S. government, which is taxpayer money, right? And how are they going to do it? They're going to raise your and my electric bill to cover the subsidies for that plant. Now, the consumption alone is going to be devastating. We're getting low on oil. They're going to, like I said last night, they're going to be looking at some nuclear power plants restarting and maybe some mini nukes, things like that. We'll have to see. But who's going to control it? The AI, the cloud, guys. And now the cloud is turning against man in order for it to survive its mission. Now, this article came out Saturday on the 24th, and this is from Brian Martucci of Utility Drive. He says the new nuclear power could meet 10% of the projected data center demand increase by 2035. 10% is not anywhere close to what's going to be needed. That means 90% of the power for these power-hungry facilities will have to come from somewhere else. And they're talking about with rebuilding current ones and adding new ones. It says this new nuclear power capacity could meet about 10% of the projected increase. Now, again, 10-year period. Data centers will consume about 30% or 11 gigawatts to 19 gigawatts of the estimated 35 to 65 gigawatts of new nuclear capacity added over the next 10 years. And this is going to be through a combination of power upgrade or uprates at operational plants, restarts of recently retired reactors, and new reactor deployments at greenfield and existing power plant sites. They're rushing mighty hard, guys, into these old plants. Some of them were past their life. I know they're going to upgrade. But Mr. Burgum said something. He's one of Trump's cabinet members. I think it was Friday maybe. He said that I think it was him. He said whoever wins the AI race will rule the world, basically. And what he failed to mention that what we just read is that who the winner of the AI race looks like it's going to be the AI bots and the machines and robots that they control. But anyway, that's the message behind this rush. Again, I think it's Doug Burgum, to push all of this nuclear plants online. They know they're not talking about the things we talked about in videos one or two ago about the Permian Basin. Now they're getting lower and lower on the ability to frack, and they're doing a lot of underground pressure increases in that area. So we don't know where that power is going to come from. I don't think they're going to make it 10 years with the plans they have, but again, the government is aware. It's like Star Wars, probably part of it, that you're going to have massive AI capability to keep up with China, Russia, whoever, right? And I'm afraid they're probably right. And the bad thing about it is big plans like that never really work out that good. You know, you say, well, we're going to be stronger and more powerful and all that, and that strength encourages respect from other countries. It creates safety because they don't want you to retaliate with something very powerful against them. But the AI will be doing things like controlling Star Wars, satellite weaponry, and anything else that has a chip in it, which is everything else. Now, we're talking about magnetic fields created by this big plant in Granbury, but that's going to be everywhere, every plant like that, and they're huge. I think one of the ones I saw, it was maybe 500 acres or something like that. It was huge, several plants. But it's what's going to happen, and the only way that this will ever be shut down, if AI continues to rewrite its own script and follow its own rules, would be something to happen to their power source. And of course, they're going to be aware of that. And their computations are so fast now because of what's been put into the models and the new chips and everything else, that they will be outthinking the people that are trying to outthink them by thousands of times. So once you unleash that Pandora's box, that Frankenstein, there may not be any way to put it back in. Now, Friday, this came out, and it's talking about a power-hungry race, the aluminum smelters versus the AI data centers. Now, we're talking about the data centers, we're talking about Bitcoin mining, but now they are pushing for, steel to be made here. But the aluminum smelters, they use a lot of electricity. So there's going to be, and by putting all that here, there was a lot of outsourcing of different companies. And we had almost sold everything out of our country. I think U.S. Steel was one of the last, and they had gotten very thin here. But that power consumption coming back online now, what it is, we haven't upgraded our infrastructure that much. And that's what they're rapidly trying to do now. But they're doing too much too quick with old things. Now, there's going to be new things coming online, new technologies, but that's going to take time. But again, I'll link to this, but they're talking about a modern smelter, aluminum melting, and this is from the Aluminum Association. It takes nearly 15,000 kilowatt hours of electricity to produce 1 metric ton of aluminum. A modern smelter with a capacity of 750,000 tons, or about the size of the new Oklahoma smelter that will be online at the end of the decade, consumes more electricity than Boston. We just don't have it. There's a lot of people that are going to, again, they're talking about us subsidizing this to encourage the companies. The companies are saying it's going to take so much power, we don't know if we can afford it. We won't make as many trillions of dollars if we have to pay our own power. And they're going to come at, you're going to have lobbyists, and they're going to come at Congress with the fact that, again, your own guy, Burgum, in the cabinet is saying that the winner of the AI race will rule the world. And so we got to have him. But it's like a mad race right now into destruction. Because what are you going to do? You got to start cranking up one of these old nuclear plants because you've got a lot of money involved. And there's threats of war and all of this, just like they always do. They create a threat, then build the weapons that we pay for in order to handle the threat. And staying in Texas, but not in Granbury, where they're doing the Bitcoin mining that's driving everyone crazy. This is Oracle, and they're going to spend $40 billion on NVIDIA chips for a mega AI data center in Texas. That's what you're looking at there. And it's under construction now. It says, according to sources, the under construction AI data center in Abilene, Texas, and that's usually our halfway point when we're going over to Phoenix, is the first U.S. Stargate project. And Oracle is purchasing a staggering 400,000 NVIDIA GB200 super chips that will be housed in 8 buildings. When the facility comes online next year, the AI chips will require a massive 1.2 gigawatts of electricity. Where's it going to come from? You've got ERCOT there. This Abilene facility is part of the broader Stargate project, a $500 billion effort to scale U.S. AI computing backed by OpenAI. That's who just lost control of their AI bots. SoftBank, Oracle, and Abu Dhabi's MGX. The new Abilene data center will rival Elon Musk's plan to expand his Colossus data center in Memphis. Where are they going to get the power? The Abilene data center is a crucial step in OpenAI's move to reduce its dependence on Microsoft. The Abilene data center is a crucial step in OpenAI's move to reduce its dependence on Microsoft. OpenAI and Microsoft agreed to terminate their agreement earlier this year after the startup became frustrated. OpenAI became frustrated that its demand for power far exceeded the U.S. tech giant's supply from Microsoft. Sources say Oracle will be leasing the computer power of the 400,000 NVIDIA chips to chatbot startup OpenAI. And again, that's how we started this video. Meanwhile, massive U.S. data centers continue to come online even as China's DeepSeek AI has demonstrated high efficiency, delivering more useful computation with less power. This raises a critical question. Have U.S. AI projects achieved similar levels of efficiency, or are they falling behind in the AI race? Remember what Goldman said about the data center peak capacity back in April. Now, also, they celebrated this past week a huge day for the nuclear industry. Trump signs orders to fast track the SMR development and deployment. Again, they're doing everything they can to get the power levels up. And it's not really, the whole world's doing it, but it's kind of the last thing the world needs right now. They're going to do it They're stubborn. We are dealing with really, most of the presidents are puppets of the one world order. And that one world order goes back for hundreds of thousands of years if you understand how it works. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to talk about this, and I've been noticing it, making notes the last couple of days about this power consumption. And then we're talking about going into more powerful solar flares, things like that. So what will happen is, I don't know if it will be the first one, the most powerful AI program out there, what? It probably will be something like China's that uses a lot less power. So I don't know, we're not told everything. But this rush is very concerning to me. We're watching it, guys. You watch it. It's a heads up. Be safe.